Good evening. Welcome to another episode of the YouTube Creator News. My name is Doug, as always, here every single week talking about what's happening in the world of YouTube, creator news, and answering your YouTube questions, all that and more. I hope everyone had a great week. I'm just looking at the light shining off my on-air sign. That's a little better. That's a little better. It sneaks around every week. Well, I hope everyone had a great week. As I was setting up, I was dropping, make sure things are working, and sometimes it likes to drop, like I do like test messages just to make sure the overlays are working. Speaking of overlays, what I do is sometimes I hit like some, it just populates random ones, and sometimes it's like jokes, like ones like this. So Video Ninja says, why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. I thought that one was pretty good. And then there was another one. What do you call a cow with two legs? Lean beef. Anyway, a few dad jokes to start the show. Hope everyone's had a great week. I didn't start the background music. Yeah, there it is. Now we're going. As provided by Creator Mix. I hope everyone's had a great week. Let's jump into the chat. See who's here today. Didn't preview anything. I'm just going to hit them fresh. Kevin Hawthorne, as always, coming to us from Lakeland, Florida. Hello. Monique is here. Very cool in Poland. Yes, cooling down here. We're heading into our autumn or our fall here. So it's getting a bit cooler. Days are warm. The nights get a little bit cooler. It's not too bad yet, but we haven't hit our like winter yet. But yeah, you guys in the Northern Hemisphere should be coming into your warmer months soon. Chantel Hills is here. Hello. Live streaming consultants in the house. Welcome. Eileen Smith, hello, beautiful people. That is to everyone here in the chat today. Also, a girl in a passport is here. Welcome to the stream. Alice is here. Look at that, and people are rolling in, so we'll continue to highlight those people as they come in. This week's an interesting week. YouTube had an event called Brandcast, but that's sort of more geared towards what YouTube's doing, and in terms of brands and sort of advertising upfronts. A lot of the other networks do that, and YouTube sort of rounded out the week doing some events in New York about that as well. There's a Double Doug Dare. Don't forget, you can drop the viewer activated gifts like the subscribe and the Double Doug Dare, and that the link to the sheet of all the commands is in the live chat, so you can do that. Let's keep going here. Frankie YT, welcome to the stream. Life on YouTube 1 is in the house as well. Chantel says, is anyone's having swirly Doug issues? I don't know what that means. Is it because I'm sort of rocking a little bit? I feel like I have rocked to the side a couple of times. Maybe it's just me. Yeah. So all the fun commands are there as well. So Larry's here. Home rapid repair on mobile, power outage due to storms. Oh, well, hope everybody in that area, that part of the US up there, Michigan way, and any other places that are affected by storms. Hope you hunker down and hope you make it through okay. Not too much damage, because storms can hit hard and fast. We know here in Brisbane that can be the same thing. We get thunderstorms, severe storm cells, and we also get the occasional cyclone, as we saw a few months ago. Always fun. Yeah, no, I didn't enjoy that. It just went on for too long. Storms are pretty scary. The best of times. Sometimes you'll just get a passing quick thing, and sometimes it'll be like, loud, obnoxious, windy, wet, thunder, lightning, all of the above. So yeah. So yeah, YouTube's had this broadcast thing. We're not going to talk too much about it. I don't have anything in the news about it. That's just generally been going on. You'll probably see a lot of that in the socials if you're on the socials. A lot of posts about that. over the last number of days. But we're going to talk about other things as we do. Starting with Creator Insider this week and moving on from there. Also, going to tell you there's some important things coming up today. We've got another jam-packed streaming day coming up, and I think you'll be pretty interested in that. So we're going to touch on that shortly. We won't leave that right till the end. I reckon we'll hit that maybe as like a break and a filler between stories if we need to, as a bit of a reset. But yeah, at any time through the show, if you have any questions, make sure you drop them in the chat. Put a Q in front of them so I know it's a question for me in particular, because we know, as always, we have conversations in the chat, and I'll just get lost in the conversations, and I inadvertently start highlighting them on the screen for no reason. So if it's a question for me, I'll just very focusedly pinpoint onto the questions if they come in. There we go. Just making sure my in-ears are all good. They're just tickling a bit, which sort of makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable in the ears. If it gets annoying, I might pull one side. All right. What I want to do is I want to jump straight to get into it this week, just so we can get that out of the way. As more people come in, what I found probably happened last week and maybe even the week before is either there's a lot of stories and we have a lot of discussions, or what happens is people come in towards the end and start asking a lot more questions, and we're, maybe trying to wrap up and head on over to Niman Live, and people are dropping questions then. So if we get the stories out of the way, then we've got more time for questions at the end. So we're going to do that, and keep the gift commands coming and so forth. Let me see if I can jump in. You know what? I've got buttons to press. I don't know why I'm looking at the screen. Here we go. We're going to jump straight over to that. Let me get rid of the BMAC. We'll leave the creator mix up there. And here we go. Creator Inside News Flash. Three points that they covered this week. They've been all this year, I've noticed, have been very short. They haven't been really long-winded. They just hit a couple of points and then move on. I reckon at some point, usually as we hit the second half of the year, they start releasing a lot of stuff, particularly in summer, I noticed last year. So I wonder if that's going to be repeated this year. But a couple of these things, these are all going to have quick little points after it. So I'm just going to list these off and then we'll move on to the points. Revert to original deprecation was talked about last week. They did a follow-up with more information this week. I'm not going to go into that, but I'll tell you why in a second. They talked about an update to the mini player on mobile, and they launched the ability to vote on playlists. This is particularly like a YouTube music, sort of YouTube party sort of tool, but I wonder if there's ways we can use this as creators as well. So we're going to investigate that. So let's move on. And the revert to original feature. Now, the reason why I'm not going to go into too much detail on it is because I've made a video which I'm going to probably drop tomorrow. I was thinking about dropping it today, but I just didn't have time to finish it up. This is like first draft thumbnail for it. It could change as to the one that I'm actually going to use, or it might be one of the three if I do a thumbnail test. So we're going to talk about why YouTube is deprecating the revert to original feature, which is a part of the YouTube editor. So if you make changes, you won't be able to revert them back to the original video as of June. So that's the basic gist. There's going to be a lot more detail in the video, so I'm going to leave it to the video to speak to that. I did talk about some of that stuff last week. So if you also want to go back and watch last week's live stream where we talked about that, and I actually brought up some of the things that I talked about in this video, but there's going to be a little bit of extra stuff in the video as well. So that's coming up. That's a fun topic. We talked about it. I think we hit a little bit of it last week in detail. Next thing is that mini player we're talking about. YouTube is testing on iOS a new UI for the video player. And now my understanding is they're not testing it, but there is like an update. It's updated. So it's not a test, it's an update. So I don't know why on this particular threads post they're calling it a test. My understanding is that it is a. I don't see. I'm just going to check my YouTube player real quick. I'll have to just play a video, don't I? Let's just volume down. Oh, no, that's not how you do it. Just skip the ad. Okay, so what you do, go down and it floats. Yeah, I still got the old version. Yeah, there was some information on the actual Creator Insider as to what the changes were. I think they were mainly just quality of life, making them easy to use and giving them maybe a little bit more functionality as well. But you can like move them around on the screen up and down and into corners and shrink and resize them as much as the screen will allow, of course. Like I'm looking now at the current one and it's pretty flexible. I think it's a minor update, but I think there's just some small quality of life things they're adding to the actual mini player on YouTube, on the mobile app in particular. So what I would say to that is probably more information to come on that. It's whether that's a test or whether that's actually a launch, which is what Creator Insider indicated. Let me quickly scan the chat, see what we've got in here. Here's Catherine's here. Welcome. Hang on. Beanie Drawers, that's what I'm trying to click on. Beanie Drawers is here. Hey, here's a question. Are the volumes of YouTube changes increasing or is it this typical? That's hard to tell. Sometimes they'll hit you with a handful of big features at once. But what you quite often find is there's little minor features that are consistently being launched and updated or experimented on. I'd say the volume of announcements can vary, but what they're working on is probably many and varied at a fairly constant pace. So yeah, that's a good question. I reckon it's going to pick up in the second half of the year. That's what we saw last year. And we've noticed it's been sort of quiet on big features. The big features come sort of once we hit the US summer and into fall, through sort of the September, October vid summit period, and through October, November, and right up to the holidays. We saw a lot of that last year with because Made on YouTube is usually in September. There's they always do the big feature announcements there, and then they roll out from that point onwards. Some of them come out within a month, and then some are a few months down the track and into the new year. What would probably be an interesting thing once I have time would be to sit down and work out whether there's features that they've announced in the past that still haven't rolled out. And I can think of one right away, but I'm sure there's more. And the one I'm thinking of is multi-language audio. Now, they've got auto dubbing for partner program people, but that's not multi-language audio where you can upload your own audio dubs in different languages and sync them to the videos, like adding additional audio tracks manually. Right now, you can only use the auto dub. Some people have it because they're still in beta testing. So there's still somebody out there will still have multi-language audio. So they're a bit delayed on that. That's one that should have already hit. But I'm sure there are other features out there that are like that. Let's move on. The third item on the Creator Insider was the voting on playlists. Now, this one has been posted a couple of places, but here Matt Navarro talks about YouTube's new playlist voting turns partygoers into collaborating DJs. So in their mind, this is sort of something that's like if you've got a playlist of music, so it's a bit like what you could probably do on Spotify or other Apple Music, different places where you can, do like a party mode where people can vote for which song they want to hear next. But you can do that in playlists for videos, where it's a collaboration playlist in particular. YouTube now lets users enable playlist voting, allowing others to vote on songs in shared playlists. And songs technically can mean videos as well. The feature works with public or unlisted playlists and is activated via Collaborate toggle. After a long testing phase, it's rolling out gradually across users. So this is coming and starting to hit channels that make that able. And really, because viewers can create playlists of content from different places and then share that out. That's sort of their use case. So it's more of a viewer sharing content sort of tool, but it could be definitely handy if you're a creator. I'm sure we're going to come up with ideas in the coming weeks and months on how we can maybe this could be used in a fun way for creators with their playlists on their channels. As they say, it's ideal for parties, road trips, and shared events. So you could potentially have like, hey, we're doing sessions. There's short video sessions. Now, which one are people most excited for first? Let's upvote and downvote. Which ones are the most important to us? So there's a lot more people interested in, say, you go to a conference that's about marketing, and people are like, I really want some to watch some content about LinkedIn marketing, and people vote that up to the top, and so maybe they'll play that one first. So you could make it like a meritocracy sort of voting system, how the content is presented to the group as a whole. I don't know how flexible this is going to be, but it's something to maybe look into. It could be something very interesting. I'm just going to jump in here. Abroad in Singapore, welcome to the stream. Hey. Live Stream Consultants says, I hate the new UI in iOS. They've put things on the right and taken away basic info of the creators from the bottom of the player, but that only happens on the home and not the subscriptions. I don't think I've noticed that yet. Maybe that's something that's rolling out at the moment because I haven't noticed that, but maybe it's I'm not using that often enough. I'm jumping all over the place. I'm jumping everywhere when I'm on mobile. So yeah, one of the things I noticed on mobile in particular was when you go to your subscription feed, they've got a new tray on mobile that's called Most Relevant, which it hasn't been there before, and they're loading in most relevant content from your subscription list where they feel that maybe you haven't watched this yet and maybe this is something you are probably more interested in than just seeing the chronological feed. So that's an interesting one as well, but that's sort of like a side one on that particular one. All right, let's move on to the next story. Oh no, we got to share on that. Hang on. My screen share. I don't know why my screen share's not coming up. It was there before. Hang on. No, that's not it. I clicked on the wrong thing. That's not the screen share, Doug. Google Chrome. Here we go. Now it's up. So this is following on about playlists. YouTube's new playlist voting system turns party guys into collaborating DJs. Sometimes these articles will give us a little bit more. This is what Android police are telling us anyway, so we'll see. We'll look at the summary. The summary is always good. YouTube now allows collaborative playlist voting, letting party guests or road trip passengers control music. So this is obviously aimed at YouTube music in particular, but it is also going to be relevant in YouTube. Playlist voting launching was delayed for extended testing, but is now officially available and will continue to roll out gradually. Users can easily enable playlist voting by hitting the collaborate toggle on unlisted or public playlists they own, sharing the resulting invite collaborators link with potential voters. So there's a link that you send out for people to actually do the voting. It's just not like if somebody comes across the playlist on your channel that they can just vote. You're actually sharing it with a specific group of people. Just to clarify, that's not something that they didn't mention in the Twitter post. So I don't know if there's too much more information in here that would share on that, but you can see that they're applying that in this picture example here. That is the YouTube Music app, not the YouTube app. But I'm understanding that it's applying to playlists more broadly. And they did actually do like a YouTube short on how to enable that. which I'm not going to play here on the stream. But if you're more interested in that, you can go and check that out. It says to make sure that the playlist is either public or unlisted, toggle the collaborate slider, then tap the share button and copy the invite collaborator link and send it to whoever you want. So you can send it through your socials or send it through your email, however you want to share it with those you want to share it with. So that's interesting. I don't know how practical that is for us as creators, but we'll see over time. Definitely a nifty feature for users. All right, we're moving on to some topics outside of Creator Insider. Now this one is about ads. So this is ads that show up in your videos. So it says YouTube has unveiled a plan to use AI to insert ads when you're most, this is how they're wording it, emotionally vulnerable. YouTube's new Peak Points ad format uses AI to insert ads at a video's most emotional point. The system identifies high impact scenes like a proposal and then interrupts with an ad. It's engineered to maximize attention, not viewer satisfaction. So it's more for the benefit of the advertiser to get more eyeballs on their ad. Unless you're a premium user, the good part now comes with a commercial. So this is how they're putting it. I'm not sure if this actually does it justice. There is some articles that are like with some pros and cons. And this next one, Dexerto reports it slightly differently. YouTube is now training its AI to play ads right after peak moments in videos. So not like, so this sort of frames it for me slightly different to what the other one just said. The other one sort of made it like right as something was happening and it would just interrupt it, which is sort of the opposite of what the whole mid-roll ad policy that YouTube wanted to roll out in regards to mid-roll ads, so they're not interruptive. And they weren't letting creators, they were stopping creators from putting ads in places that would get where it would be interruptive to the content. So now there's this AI thing that they're trialing that they're going to interrupt the content, which sort of seems counterintuitive. Now it says here, Gemini, Google's AI, can now identify parts of videos where the viewer attention is the highest. So it knows, it's analyzing videos and saying, this is where most eyeballs are on the video. So it's got most of the attention because of maybe something that happens in the video, or it answers the question, or this is where all the hooks are leading people to. So they're looking for emotionally impactful moments and suggest placing an ad after it. So you get the impact, the scene is finished, and then the ad. That sounds more like what it would be like, okay, the scene's finished, there's a transition, and then drop the ad at the transition, because we've just gone from that peak point. People don't drop off immediately. People wait to see, well, what's coming next, and they're dropping the ad after that, which is sort of not what the first one was suggesting. Now, the first article was pointing and sort of getting their information from the following. Oh, okay, and this one doesn't want to show either. Okay. Thank you, Ecamm. There it goes. This is also from Android Authority. So Matt Navarro likes quoting or getting stuff from Android Authority. Their headline is very clickbaity. YouTube's new ads will ruin the best part of video on purpose. Yeah, that sounds real fun for creators, doesn't it? Yeah, I don't know about this. This is like, okay. The TLDR, YouTube has introduced a new ad format that places ads right where something exciting happens in the video. Okay. These new types of ads are called peak points and use AI to identify the peak moments of videos. So it must be like a form. It's like a particular type of mid-roll. YouTube's always cooking up new ways to show you ads, be it skippable ads, non-skippable ads, mid-rolls, or bumpers. The goal, as always, is to find more places to make more money. And now, thanks to AI, YouTube has found a brand new spot to squeeze in ads, right when something exciting happens in the video. Okay, so it's a new ad product. So this is something completely different to what they've had before, powered by Google Gemini, which we mentioned. Uses AI to identify the most engaging or emotionally charged moments in popular videos and then serves ads right there. Yes, right where you get to the good part, an ad will be waiting to disrupt your experience. So that's their editorial. They're editorializing the news announcement there. So that's Android Authority's opinion. They could very well be corrected there. Okay, because this, remember, it's Brandcast week, and so this is the announcements for YouTube are coming out are sometimes based around what a brand wants, what brands are looking for. It says if you're an advertiser, this might sound like a brilliant move. For viewers, it's pretty much the worst possible timing. YouTube even shows off an example where an ad rolls in just after someone proposes in a video. My point in that would be like we mentioned in that other article, is it was after it happened. I'd have to see this working in the real world. You know what I mean? Because apparently, when we are really needed, what we really needed were more ads in our videos, especially ones specifically designed to ruin the best parts. Now, I don't think YouTube's intention is to ruin videos, because they're going out of their way to tell us not to be interruptive with our ad placement. And if they're going to just turn around and do the same thing, then that just doesn't make sense. So I think there's a little bit of editorialization in this particular article from Android Authority. It is Android. Yes, it is Android Authority. So I think they're doing it to get the clicks. I think they're doing it to get the clicks, in my opinion. So what it really means, we're going to have to wait for some more information from YouTube to share on that. If we can get something that's sort of not being colored by Android Authority, for example. All right, we're going to move on from that because that could be controversial. Is there anything interesting happening in the chat? That's the ideal, isn't it? Love to see no ads at all. As viewers, we want to see less ads. And as creators, we know, we get paid because of the ads. So we have like a love-hate relationship as creators with ads. We like them because we get paid. We don't like them if they're too interruptive. And that's the balance that YouTube's always walking on. Yeah, you'll tend to see the pre-roll as you come into a live stream every single time. You really can't turn pre-rolls off when you're in the YouTube partner program. You used to be able to, but now you can't. They're like baked in. So, but we still have the choice on, do we do mid-rolls and how many mid-rolls? And, there's varying levels. For live streams, I have made sure that mid-rolls are always turned off. Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't have any time for that. I'll let YouTube optimize the ad placement. And obviously we know that when they optimize ad placement, it's tailored to the viewer, what the viewer's threshold is for ads. And hopefully they understand that better than the creator, for sure. Experience that on TV format mostly. Sent on mobile as well, depending on the content or the creator I was watching. Definitely annoying. Yeah, if it's too interruptive, then it does get annoying. And hopefully they get the feedback if too many people click away, and they can dial back like the sensitivity or the however, whatever the terminology is for the viewers' ability to tolerate ads. So it's a thing. It's a thing you don't want to see. You don't want to see. Okay. Now this one is slightly different. It is ad related, but this is talking about like products. When we're watching YouTube and we see a tag products, or we see products in the sidebar, maybe next to a video or something like that. This is to do with people watching on TV. It's a little bit, the purchase process on TV is a little bit clunky, but YouTube are working to improve that. YouTube now lets you shop directly from ads on your TV. A new product feed appears during commercials that lets you scroll with your remote so you can look through a selection of products. This is interesting. You can scan a QR code with your phone or whatever device that you got to scan QR codes and send the product links to your phone, and then you can do the purchase on your phone, where your TV keeps playing the content that you're watching. With 50 million plus monthly purchases, YouTube's turning TV into a shopping tool. As creators, there's opportunities for us to, earn affiliate revenue from that. So if we're tagging products on our content and we're in the YouTube affiliate program and they show up in the sidebar because they're the products that are related to the video they're watching, then we're more likely to get people buying, clicking. Now on TV, they're making it easier for people to do that process, which is pretty cool from an affiliate standpoint. Being able to make it, if it's something that makes sense to the viewer, then that's a good thing. Something they might be interested in, that's a good thing. So be interested to see how that works in the wild. I haven't been on TV for a while, so watching YouTube, that is, but I need to do that a little bit more often. I'll be checking that out. Oh, there's one of those for that too. And I should have known that was going to do that. They did it with the rest. Okay, this is to do with YouTube's interactive product feed for shoppable TV ads. Just like scrolling through Amazon and seeing videos and then making a purchase. This is sort of the other way around. You're watching videos and then you see the product and you can make a purchase. So slightly flipped. This was announced during the pitch at Brandcast this week. YouTube executive introduced new ad formats coming to the platform, including an enhanced, shoppable, connected, or CTV offering that includes a new interactive product feed. And that tells me that something is happening there. Before I continue reading, I'm going to try and get my mouse to where I need to get. And that's not the button.
Thank you for the super chat.
We've got a 50 GBP super chat from Tube Spinner. Did you hear about the new YouTuber who started a channel about viruses? He wanted to be an influencer. Oh, I got to give that one. Like, I am partial to dad jokes. I don't know. I don't know if Nick and D. Nick would be he'd be pan on that one, I reckon. I think D would have a little chuckle, but I actually think that's quite good. I like the dad jokes. I'm partial to that. So big shout out to Danielle and Tube Spanner for the 50 GBP. That's wonderful. And we've got a bit of a joke. I love it. Love it. I did play that, didn't I? All right. I'll leave that up. That's going to disappear. I've got to go back to the article. I want to get to the cusp, which would be this product. This here. The new shoppable format allows advertisers to display products on the right side of the TV during ads. The interactive feed acts as a storefront for brands where viewers can easily browse multiple products using their remotes. When a viewer selects them, they'll be prompted to scan a QR code with their smartphone, get a direct link for purchase. So this is particularly aimed at those who are advertising in the sidebar. So this isn't necessarily the ads that the products that are talked about in the content itself, but I can see this will be a natural extension for that as well. So this is like, obviously they're presenting this for brands because it's Brandcast week. So that's why it's framed for brands who are advertising, like we've got here in the sidebar here. Say this is a sidebar of TV, but that's a Dell ad on the website. But actually, they've got a little graphic demo, so I'm just going to roll this up. This is an image credit. They've got a video ad playing there, and obviously with a video ad, this is an ad for some sponsored thing here, and they're buying some looks like some homewares or something, so some towels and stuff, and the products are being put up here. There's a QR code. You saw the QR code pop up. This is on a quick looping GIF, but then you can scan the QR code and make a purchase. So it's just helping brands sort of connect and make that purchase process easier while they're advertising on the platform, particularly on the TV format. I think that's interesting because I think that will extend in some ways to what we're already doing with like creator-based products, like the tag products are going to be able to pop up in different ways. I think it will extend to that. Maybe not initially, but it will be interesting for us to take notice of that. I don't think there's anything else in this article that, it's at the bottom of the article there. I think this could be an interesting thing. I'm going to go back to, I need to get off this screen. I got one more thing. So let's do that. Now, this is an interesting thing. I think this is interesting to look at from a creator perspective. So that's why I brought that up. All right. YouTube takes further actions against fake movie trailer channels. So apparently YouTube are actually cracking down on video, the channels that are making and posting what they deem as legitimate or the official movie trailer or TV show trailer, but then it's just something that somebody has maybe like a made, and it's like AI or whatever it's put together. And so this is specifically the ones that are misleading, is the ones that are getting taken down. Like they're okay. Now YouTube's already okay with like fan edits, where it's clearly labeled a fan edit, where people know what they're going to get when they click on it. This is clearly a cleaning up after clickbaity things that suck you into watching a trailer that isn't real. Let's see. YouTube has demonetized fake trailer channels like Screen Culture and KH Studio after a deadline expose. So there was some expose about this earlier. AI-generated clips mimicked real movie promos for Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, misleading millions. SAG-AFTRA slammed studios for profiting off the fakes, calling it a race to the bottom. YouTube says all connected channels violating its policies are now suspended for monetization. So what happened is there were some sub-channels from the Screen Culture KH Studio group of channels that sort of were still going and putting out some of these fake trailers. And so now they're obviously when a channel in a group gets terminated, then eventually all the other channels in that group get terminated as well. So if you're an owner of a channel that gets terminated, eventually that termination is going to roll out to all your other channels because you're no longer allowed to be on the platform if you get terminated. But the bigger thing about this is they're cracking down on the false, misleading, clickbaity content that's made out to, on the surface, it looks like it's going to be an official trailer, and you click on it and it's something that someone's made up. Clearly a made up trailer, maybe using AI, maybe somebody's just, mislabeled their fan edit when they should have just said it's a fan edit. So, it's like, okay, don't, if you are going to put out like a spoof or something that's not the real thing, make sure that it's clearly labeled so that you are being honest with YouTube and the viewers who may click to watch it, that they're going to get what they're expecting and not get some fake business, you know what I mean? So we'll see. Let's jump back into the chat. I just thought that was an interesting story, so I included that. I know some other channels talked about that, particularly in the movie space and TV space earlier in the week, and I thought I want to mention that myself. Let's see. Let's look at the chat. I'm getting text message while I'm streaming, so they're gonna have to wait. I'm not replying to a text message while I am streaming. Any questions? Oh wow, my YouTube has been so laggy that influenza joke was actually a while ago. Thanks for the hydration. I thought that was already a rule. Are they just getting more firm with it? Yeah, I think it's like, hey, there's a general rule as to, not be misleading, but they're cracking down on specifics. Just, you know, like how a while ago they were cracking down on medical misinformation. Now it's sort of, well, you know, stuff that's not like crucial important, but hey, it's happening at scale. So they're cracking down on fake movie trailers and fake TV trailers. And yeah, I run into them. You know, I run into them when I'm watching YouTube. So I know it's definitely a thing. And good evening to Shark Scrapper. Welcome to the stream. All right, need to get my chat up to date here. Yes, I do. They pop in on my Apple Watch. the text message on my arm. Because I'm like, yes, I am looking at my watch. Because that's where thing. I actually get like a drop down on my Mac as well, because it's like it's the ecosystem. It's the Apple ecosystem. You know, it might be coming in on my phone, but it's going to do a little pop up on my computer, and it's going to come in on my watch. And if I had my iPad's here, and it's going to come up on my iPad. As is what happens when you're in that integrated system, and everything's interconnected. Sounds good. Now they can crack down on all the no effort Asia. Yeah. You know, there's going to be waves. Sometimes there's going to be like a particular focus, and sometimes, you know, just generally, the AI thing is like, I think eventually, when people click off en masse, the video is going to go die on its own. To be honest, unless people engage in it and people get excited. Usually when people, as soon as they realize they're getting misled, they're hitting that back, they're hitting that like X and getting out of there ASAP. And that's a signal to YouTube to this is something people aren't interested in, that they're getting out of there. So let's show it to less people. And you know, that's the sort of content that we want that to happen to. You know, the low effort, the low value content, the junk videos, as you say, AI generated junk videos, things like that. We want them just to find a corner of YouTube and just not get any views. And yes, it is taking up space on their servers. So if they want to purge to save some disk space, then by all means, YouTube, go and do that. Well, if you've got any questions, drop them in the chat. Put a Q in front if it's for me. We've got a little bit of time left before we hit the last call. If you have any topics to discuss, what we're going to do now, though, I rolled through all the news articles. I was going to take a break halfway through and talk about what's coming up today, but we're going to do that right now because I think that's important. So let's jump in. As always, coming up today, 9 a.m. Eastern US time. Nick D is coming at you with Nimmin Live. Same bat time, same bat channel. And we've got a special stream just following Nick and D today, about 12:30 p.m. Eastern. It's a Tube Spanner launch. What's it all about? Make sure you tune in and find out. I'll be there in the chat for the Tube Spanner launch. I don't know what's planned. I'm excited and have some suspense building up in my mind as to what exactly we're launching. Who's going to be on the stream, all that and more. So make sure you stay tuned in. I would fully expect Nick's going to redirect to that as well. So make sure, put that in your calendar so you know it's coming up today. The Tube Spanner launch live on the Tube Spanner channel. And also, tomorrow night, Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern, Chantel will be live with her weekly live show, talking about all things YouTube and live streaming. Make sure you're there. And I'll be back next week with more of YouTube Creator News. And I am getting dry. Okay, this is good feedback. I like the two-tone announcement, which is what you just heard when I brought that up. When you bring up a comment on the screen, could be a tiny bit louder. It's almost not audible even with the headphones on. It definitely might not. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'll take back. Yeah, it is very quiet in my in-ears as well. But, you know, that could just it could be just the way I've got this set up. That's good feedback just so I know what's going on with all that and more. Sharkgrapher says, Tube Spanner are launched to the moon? I think, yeah, no, it's launched to the moon. I don't think, I'm not aware of any rockets. but, yeah, no, I believe there's some, I think there's some feature announcements and other things as well. So tune in to find out all the details at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. All right. Yeah, well, I'm going to rock this one because it's got all the times there, just as a reminder. Let's get rid of that BMAC for a second. So yeah. Drop in the chat if you've got a question. If you want to talk about any of the news topics for today or anything else that is creator related, happy to talk about that. Reminder that Vid Summit is coming up in October, a few months away still. What are we in May? We're in May now. So, you know, what's that, 4 months? I'm just guessing on this June, July, August, September. 4 or 5 months. So, you know, it's a little ways away. But, you know, we're fast coming into the middle of the year. It's mid-May already. I know at the end of June, that's the end of our financial year. That's tax time for us here in Australia. I know it's not in other parts of the world like Canada and US where it's, you know, beginning, end of the year. But we're coming into the summer period in the US and you know, people get busy doing things and other things are going on. It's colder here in the southern hemisphere. You know, we just start to rug up and, you know, drink more coffees and hot chocolates and on really cold days, get a blanket, read a book, watch a movie. It's the winter weather, which is, you know, which is always good to experience every year. Imagine if we had the same weather all year round. That would be, particularly if it's if you're at a place that just gets stuck with the bad weather, the gloomy. You don't want to have the gloomy sort of wet and gloomy cold weather all year round. You want a variation. You want some warmth. You want some greenery coming out. You want the grass. You want the warmth. You want the summer. You get out and about a little bit more. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. This has nothing to do with YouTube or creators, but yeah, if you've got a question, drop it in the chat. Oh, it's good. Now, if you may have noticed that I did put a channel trailer on today. It is 20% off at the moment in the merch store. It seems that now with Spreadshop that there's always a promotion running. So it just depends on what week it is and what the promotion is. This week up until Monday, the 17th, it's 20% off everything. Let's see. Do I have the details there? Oh, I don't have the details, but I just got some samples there, like the mug. I love the ice streamy mug. Popular one in this group, Double Doug there. Always good. Always good. And you can get, and we've got a selection of stickers, there's t-shirts, you know, all the usual merch things coming up. Anyway, I didn't update that. What does that say? Got the wrong date, but it is 20% off everything. Not till April 7th. I forgot to update this. That was one of the things I was supposed to update before the stream. So the April 17th actually means May 19th. You know what? I could edit this right now. We can fix this. This is fixable. Here we go, May 19th. See, that's fixed. May 19th. The link for the merch, of course, is in the description. I think it's dhyt.link/shirt. What's it? Shirts. Anyway, it's in the chat. So thought I'd mention that. Thought I would mention that as well. Do I have a button for that? Yeah, I do. Okay. And have a button for that. All right. Shark Scrapper says, read a book? Who does that anymore? Yeah, it's been a while since I've read a book, but I've got a few books up my sleeve. I got a few creator books up my sleeve, so, you know, at some point, maybe I will. Maybe I will. Maybe it will be easier on my eyes than looking at screens. I barely read instructions. Yeah. No, I understand. I understand why we don't read instructions sometimes, especially when you're a little older. Like, the instructions are written too small or something like that. It's like, they want to strain arms. I'll just figure it out. Unless they're, and sometimes if they're pictures, we might not, depending on what they are. If we need the help, if they're pictures, we might go, okay, yeah, I can follow the diagram. I need to build this thing. I can follow the diagram. Or you do it this way. You don't read them until after they're broken, whatever I got. Definitely. We can all relate. Well, I know the men at least all relate to that. I don't want to speak for everybody. I do not want to speak for everybody. All right. You know what? I think we should just call it.
It's the last call.
It's the last call for the show. So this is the last part where you can drop questions, make any more comments before we wrap things up. Send you all over to Get Ready for Niman Live, which is going live in like about 40 minutes from now, just under 40 minutes from now. So if you've got anything, drop it in the chat, put a Q in front of it, all good. Just like Alice has done. Says, why doesn't YouTube allow uploading thumbnails for shorts? I now add one frame at the end of the short to then pick that thumbnail. That's not optimal. Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's been back and forth. Originally, they didn't give us any choices whatsoever. And then people are looking for hacks for, but if I do drop a frame as a thumbnail, how does it select the frames? Is there a pattern? Can I figure out which frame it is? But YouTube eventually relented and added the option to actually select the frame from the video. So that's sort of like the in between. I understand why they wouldn't want people to put like a 16:9 thumbnail, because it would, where shorts appear on most places in the platform, it's appearing vertically. So you don't want a 16:9 thumbnail, but understandably you might want a vertical thumbnail. The other thing that people used to do now, since the ability to actually pick the frame, is sometimes they would add a few seconds of the thumbnail to the video and upload it, and then they'd select it, and then they would trim that off. I know that was vidIQ's technique. I don't know if YouTube still allowed that part, especially with the revert to original things going on. Whether, well, I guess you're leaving it off anyway. Like for me, I'll try and make sure that there is a scene I could use. And what I do is maybe pick that and then add my own text, because you can add a couple of things. I think you can add like a what's it called when you colorize the image, like an effect, like an effect over the picture, so you can make it black and white or accentuate some of the colors or whatever. But you can also add like you can actually add text as a thumbnail text in that. So you could pick a frame that looks interesting from somewhere in the video and do that. I sometimes will have like a title frame that's sort of like, it's like a video title, so it rolls in and does a thing. So I can just like pause it at the right spot and use that as a thumbnail. I've done that sometimes. Whether you add, because you don't want like just to sit there and have like a thumbnail section to it, whether it's at the beginning or the end. Like I certainly probably wouldn't suggest putting it at the beginning, because you want to grab attention as soon as possible with shorts, to putting it at the end as a thing. So yeah, why YouTube doesn't allow you just to like have a thumbnail for when they click on it, if it appears in the shelf. Like if it's only going to appear in the shelf, that it pops up and you do be able to click on it, it would make sense to be able to just upload. Hey, here's a 9:16 thumbnail, this vertical thumbnail, put it in there. But I don't want to do that. So the answer is I don't know why they won't let you do it. I'm glad that they've improved it so you can at least do something. It's still not the best, but it is something. Yeah, you can handpick the frame, definitely. Peter Dell's in the house, welcome. Yeah, so you can pick the frame. Yeah, how many? It's like, how do you want that to be presented? Like, how do you want that to be? Are you able to make something decent? And is it going to ruin the flow of the short by putting a number of frames in that would be representative of your thumbnail? Or would you just pick something and add the extra text afterwards? That's sort of the things we all have to sort of figure out. So yeah, it's an interesting question. We've had lots of discussions in the past about when shorts first came out, and we could add thumbnails and we couldn't add thumbnails, and then they said, oh, maybe we'll let you do it at some point, and then like pick a frame, and that's sort of where we're at. So it could change. It could change. YouTube channel ineligible for the YouTube partner program. After careful review, we confirm that your channel has violated monetization policies. Is this your channel, Peter? That's not good. That's not good, is it? Now I'm assuming it's for something like reused content or something, and not something more serious. Because reused content isn't like the end of the world. There's steps you can take, and and some of my videos about reused content sort of go into a lot of detail about how that works and the two different ways they consider reused content. And it's either that you are actually reusing content, or that they don't understand enough about your content to know that you actually made it yourself. And so you have to like make an appeal video that points out how you make your content, and that you film this yourself, and that you put this together yourself. And that can often happen with channels that maybe don't have someone appearing in them or someone doing the voiceover on them. If they're just like imagery and background music, there's not a lot of obvious signs that somebody has like made it all from scratch. It could be just like stock footage with some background music and different things like that. That's why the appeal video is important, because it allows you, if you follow all the appeal video rules, like the length and what you got to provide and what you got to present, where you can show them that you actually make this content yourself, where you can show them your content creation process. That's where that appeal video comes into play. So I don't know if it was for reused content or for something else. So that would just depend. Yes, TubeSpinner has new features coming. That's what the live stream's all about. I knew there was new features. I didn't know how much I could say about the new features, but new features. I know there's new features. I know a little bits and pieces about new features. So I'm looking forward to the stream coming up later today. Yeah. Not sure about the Rockets, but we'll be hitting some home runs. Yeah, it's the new baseball feature, because we're gonna be hitting home runs. There's a feature taking place. Dark Boy Doris, welcome to the stream. There's there's a few comments there. Usually what happens with moderators, now moderators is an interesting thing. I only appoint people who I've known for a long time. People like Chantel, like I've had coffee, I've met Chantel. We've not that all my mods are people I've met in person, but I know who they are. I follow their content. I trust them. So I just don't drop mods on anybody who asks to be dropped mods. Just so you know that's sort of where I stand when it comes to appointing moderators. Like there's probably a bunch of other people in this chat that I would probably consider making a mod at some point. But I don't need any more mods right now. My mods cycle through. Like I know Chantel's in here. I know Beanie was in here. Eileen Smith is in here. And I have a number of others as well who are here from time to time as well. So I don't need any more mods, and I just don't give them out like candy. But certainly, yeah. Feel free to participate in the chat and become a regular. Maybe I'll get to know you. Maybe there's something in the future. If I know you, trust you, with the powers of the moderation hammer. I don't have my. I need like a. We need to revisit the hammer. We need to revisit the hammer. I was going to pick something. I was going to pick up the subscribe button, but no. But that's my rules on moderation. Just did not use a corked bat. Okay. Alice asks, is modding a job these days? Sounds like it could be one. Yeah. In most cases, if on like general streams, say you're a mod for like a streamer, unless the stream is like extremely huge, then like if you're just a mod for somebody who streams to like 100 people on Twitch or whatever, then it's unlikely that there's going to be like any compensation. You're doing it for the love, because you enjoy that streamer, you're a friend or whatever, and and sometimes if you might stream as well, and so they're reciprocating, they'll be a mod for you if you be a mod for them, if they become online friends. That's like a very common level of moderation. It's like I use some of my friends and people that I know to be moderators. When you get to like bigger streamers, like the big mega streamers, or people who stream for maybe businesses or big events, maybe it's like Coachella or something that maybe YouTube promotes, so they would employ probably specific moderators to moderate those live streams in some capacity. Like I haven't tuned into any like that, but they would. Generally, I would expect that. And they might have some sort of compensation. They would maybe be employees. So they get it compensated because of the fact they work for that company or business, that they're doing that moderation as part of their job. So yeah, there are opportunities. Like I have a couple of clients where I would do some sort of level of moderation for. And then but there's a lot of people who I mod like totally, I give my time for that. And there's not a lot of those, but there's a few. I remember at one point when I first started doing a lot of moderation, people would just add me as a mod because I was in the chat and because they knew that I modded for somebody like Nick Nimmin or someone else, Roberto or Brian G. Johnson or whatever, who I still mod for all those guys. But because they knew I mod, they would appoint me as a mod. And it's like, sometimes it's like you could appoint mods because you might grab someone because you need someone on the spot, and so they see you in the chat. So can I just make you a mod because none of my mods are here today? Is it okay? And you go, okay, that's cool. I'm here. I can do that. I think there might be some YouTube issues today because I've seen a few comments from Beanie about lagging. I don't know what everybody else is seeing. Maybe we're behind. I see some of the comments seem to be a little bit behind. There's all sorts of things when it comes to mods. So yeah, you definitely would have like a small portion that would be like paid, whether they're because they're employees or they're contracting to do that particular task for a set time every week, or ad hoc as they have events or live streams, different things like that. But yeah, but most of the ones that I mod for, I just do it. I do it at my own time. I'm not doing it. You might get something in return. You might get sent some books or merch or something just for appreciation. That can happen as well. So there might be just like perks. We'll call them perks, like a membership. This is perks. All right, let's jump in. Yeah, Beanies have some buffering. I don't know. The report if you got any. I'm getting a lot of lag and buffering. Okay, so it could be YouTube. Could be YouTube. Could be the internet. Maybe it's me. I know someone upstairs was streaming as well, so maybe it's me getting out. Although I'm getting an excellent connection. I'm not getting any issues popping up on the YouTube live stream thing. The live stream thing. Yeah. But, some good questions there in the last call. Some good questions indeed. Well, just as a reminder, coming up at 9 a.m. Eastern, which is in about 24 minutes from now. I'll just put them up. Let's get rid of that. Covering that up a bit. We'll leave the last call up there. Remember, Nick is live 9 a.m. Eastern. The Tube's going to launch a live stream 12:30 p.m. Eastern today, which was more or less just after Nick and Dee finish up today. So stick around for that. Chantel will be streaming 7 p.m. Eastern on her weekly show. That's 9 a.m. in the morning if you're here in Australia, watching in my part of the world. 7 p.m. Sunday night Eastern. And I'll be back next week with YouTube Creator News at 7:30 a.m. Eastern, as we do on the Saturday. So yeah, it's gonna be good. Okay, so there's no lagging for some. Honest Smith is fine with the no lagging. No lagging. There's a question here. Peter's got a question. Doug, YouTube said to reapply in 3 months. Okay, yeah. There's a review period where you can get your application in, but if you get I think it's when they send you the thing, I think you got 14 days, and if you don't appeal in 14 days, then you've got to wait the 90 days. Or if you do like an appeal and it gets rejected, you got to wait the 90 days. What do I put all of my videos on unlisted for now? If they're on public, YouTube puts ads to profit without me making anything. But keep in mind that if you unlist them and your channel just drops, then your watch time starts dropping. Because remember, you still got to reach the eligibility requirements to get back into the YouTube Partner Program. So if you don't have views coming in and what to make watch time, then when you go to reapply, you might be under the 4,000 hours or the 3,000 hours, depending on which level you're applying for. So putting it unlisted is probably not a good idea because you're just basically just killing your watch time. You got your subscribers will be there still, but the watch time, that's 90 days of no watch time. So that's 3 months. Whatever you did in, the last 365 days, that last 90 days of that 365 days is no watch time at all. And so the total watch time for that 365 day period is getting smaller and smaller and smaller because the older stuff is dropping away. So I wouldn't unlist. And when it comes to ads, YouTube has to pay for the platform to keep it running. They're paying to host your videos and everybody else's videos. But if we're just talking in terms of our singular channels, YouTube, it costs YouTube money to host our videos. Even if we're not in the YouTube Partner Program, they need to recoup some of those costs, and that's why ads still run on videos whether you're in the YouTube Partner Program or not. It just means that when you're in the YouTube Partner Program, you get paid and you get more control over the ads that show. But when you're not in the YouTube Partner Program, you got no control. That's the main difference. So yeah, if you unlist them, then I'd want to be confident that you still have enough watch time when you come back around to be eligible to reapply. That would be my thing to think about there. I can say anything. I don't know if I have too much. I want to leave an element of surprise, awe and wonder. I think people are really going to dig it. I think people are really going to dig all the announcements coming from Tube Spanner. So that's all I'm going to say. We get paid to hammer people? Oh, okay. Because Chantel said, like Doug, I have a mix of paid and unpaid modding. Yeah. That's right. And that's what I was laughing at, Shaft Scrappers. You get paid to hammer people. Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes. People do not think about the costs that YouTube incurs. Yeah, it's sometimes you don't it's not obvious sometimes if you don't think about it or if it's not pointed out. So that's why I like to mention that there's a reason why they're playing ads, because they do need to cover the costs of the platform. And the primary way that YouTube makes money to cover the costs of the platform, and it's not cheap to host the server space, the storage to serve video, hold, serve, and distribute video content is huge. It's amazing. It's amazing the platform works. It's amazing that they, like, from a financial perspective, they were subsidized by Google for such a long time, but now they're standing on their own 2 feet in regards to being self-sustaining because they've got the momentum, they've got the ad revenue coming in from brands and sponsors and advertisers. Which, if it wasn't for those advertisers, then we wouldn't get paid either for ad revenue. There's other ways we can get paid, but in terms of the ad revenue, and that's unfortunately, and that's the primary bread and butter for YouTube is the ad revenue. If they don't get the ad revenue, then the platform doesn't exist. So it's a two-edged sword. It's like, and whether you got ads playing or not, I don't think it's a concern. It's just a part of the platform. People are used to it, so it's not like people are getting upset because there's ads played in front of them. If it's excessive and stuff, as we talked about earlier. Hey, well, it's time to wrap things up. Send on people on over to Nick and D. Get ready. You're gonna, if you stay in the chat, you'll automatically get rolled over to Nick's channel's chat, the pre-show, starting in about 18 minutes. So I want to let you go and get refreshed. Make sure you get a fresh coffee or drink of choice, and get ready for those. Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. If you talk, I don't have subscriber only. No, I don't have subscriber only. I let anybody chat in the chat. We had that on for like a week or two, back a month or so back. So make sure you subscribe, drop a double Doug there, and we'll catch you in the next show. And I'll see everyone next. Catch you later.